Hey, welcome back to Comics Characters Chronology, where we follow characters through their comic book appearances, as well as movies, TV shows, that kind of thing when we get to it. We do that in chronological order, look at the character development, and today we're starting in on the first appearance of the Doom Patrol. So their first appearance, we like to always start with the cover here, and their first appearance is in My Greatest Adventure, number 80, and that is from June of 1963. So some quick thoughts on the cover. It has this wonderful, bizarre sci-fi feel, which I personally enjoy. It's in keeping with the kind of covers you would see in My Greatest Adventure. You could go to, say, comics.org, and you can look at a cover gallery from there. This certainly fits within the tone of what was coming out in that book previous to this. It definitely inspires a lot of questions about what's going on. We have a number of characters here, and there's strange things happening for sure, and for me, I count me in on something with a cover like this. I definitely do want to know more about what's happening here. All right, real quick, we also want to review who was behind this issue. What is the creative team that put this out? All right, so on the cover we have both pencils and inks by Bruno Premiani, and no idea on the colors. The letters, believe it or not, are by someone named Joe Letteries. That is his real name, and he is a letterer. This always fascinates me. All right, and moving inside, we see that the script is done by Arnold Drake and Bob Haney. Bob Haney's involvement probably explains some of the wackiness, but Arnold Drake too is I think personally a pretty great storyteller. We have on the pencils Bruno Premiani and the inks, so just like the cover, and letters inside is Stan Starkman, which sounds like someone, a character Stan Lee would have created, but appears to have been a letterer. All right, so a quick summary of the story. A man known as the Chief calls together a team of three super powerful misfits and tells them he'd like them to work together for the betterment of humanity. And at that time they learn word of a bomb and work together to defuse the bomb and save lives. After that they sort of agree, hey, let's do it, let's work together. We're outsiders anyways, we can sort of put our abilities to use and help people. So after that, they go on a mission that the Chief originally called them together for, which was to retrieve a bit of alien space technology that was potentially very dangerous if it fell in the wrong hands. And he sent them off as a group, while of course remaining in radio contact with them to go retrieve this. However, a man named General Immortus apparently has quite the spy network because he's watching as the Chief discusses this with his team, and he is in pursuit of that technology as well. So the Doom Patrol first has to face off against the spaceship's own internal self-defense mechanisms, and then after that General Mortis shows up. He attempts to steal the technology from the Doom Patrol who had acquired it, but of course they're able to fight him off. And at the end of the issue, General Mortis is trapped inside the spaceship as it begins to fly off and explodes. All right, so quick story notes. The Chief here has a network of drones that are constantly keeping watch over the entire Earth, which seems a little creepy, yet also not that far from where we're at. And I think people like Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg have discussed this sort of thing, so maybe they become the Chief, or maybe they become General Mortis. I don't know. Speaking of General Mortis, is this the last we see of him? Who knows? Comic book villains have a way of not dying in explosions that would kill the rest of us, so perhaps we'll see him again. All right, so real quickly, let's review the members of the Doom Patrol, as well as how they came about their strange powers. Rita Fair is a former actress who can grow and shrink, and she developed this ability after breathing in some strange chemicals at the foot of a waterfall during a movie scene that went awry and caused her to have to, in fleeing from a crocodile, go over a waterfall, and at the bottom there was odd chemicals that gave her the ability to shrink and grow. Larry Trainor is an astronaut who, ever since he went to space, he has developed this powerful negative man version of himself. But he can only be out of his body for about 60 minutes, and it's not really clear why he's wrapped in bandages. That I don't know that we've been given an answer to that. Hopefully we will at some point. All right, next we have Cliff Steele. This is a man who was in a terrible race car accident, and his body was ruined, but his brain still remained. So they were able to transfer his brain into this metal shell, and thus he became Robot Man. Now, the man who performed that surgery was actually the Chief, the final member of the team here. And the Chief is wheelchair bound, but clearly an incredible genius with lots of abilities, apparently quite a bit of money, and is sort of connected worldwide through his headquarters and his drone surveillance map, web, whatever you want to call it. All right, so when we look at this team, it's pretty easy to see Marvel's influence. This is clearly some strange version of the Fantastic Four crossed with the X-Men, the Chief very much being kind of a Professor Xavier for this team of 3, but still they're a team of 4 and kind of reminds you of the Fantastic Four in that sense, and it all has a bit of Twilight Zone weirdness thrown on top of it. That said, I love it. I think it's a wacky idea that is exactly what I like to see from DC in this era. One other quick note, Bruno Premiani's art is pretty solid on this first issue, but having read most of this series before, he's worth keeping an eye on because he gets really good throughout this series. I really like his work. I'm sort of disappointed that I wasn't really all that aware of him before I got to the Doom Patrol. I'm not even actually sure what else he did, but he's quite a talent. All right, so that's it for our first appearance of the Doom Patrol here. Up next, we're going to take a look at Batman. We're going to return back to him, our Monday character, if we ever get to a weekly schedule, or a one day of the week, I guess, to each character schedule. And we're going to take a look at his second appearance in Detective Comics number 28. Thanks.